Hey, good morning, Peninsula Grace. This morning I want us to consider our reading for today from Isaiah 42, verses 1 through 9. And we're 5 weeks into this quarantine period. And by now, if you're like me, the novelty of this situation is starting to kind of wear off. And I think a lot of us hit that first week of shutdown just kind of scrambling to know how to survive. We had to race to figure out homeschooling or how to work from home or adjust to new hours or even just living life completely online. And it was during that first initial week that we were first faced with the big questions like, will I still have a job when all is said and done? What does my financial future look like? Am I going to be okay? Are my loved ones going to be okay? So there was that initial week or two of urgency and adjustment. But now we're on week 5. And maybe after figuring out how to respond to the initial news and crisis, you're starting to settle in. And even though there are rumors of things maybe starting to open up soon, this is really the period where things start to take a toll on us. Strange hours, the constant grind of being at home, the conflict in our families, isolation from others. Maybe you're working longer hours. These all have cumulative effects that build as time go on. So perhaps more than ever, you and I need to hear the words of Isaiah 42. For Isaiah 42 was written to a people who were likewise worn down and just grinding it out. They needed to be pointed to the servant of God, the Messiah. And in particularly, they needed to be reminded of, and we need to be pointed to, the very center of this prophecy, verses 2 and 3 of Isaiah 42. Where Isaiah writes, "He will not cry aloud or lift up his voice or make it heard in the street. He will not break a bruised reed. He will not quench a smoldering wick." And we're told in Matthew 12, our reading from Monday, that this is ultimately fulfilled in the person of Jesus. He is the Messiah who sees us and knows our weakness. He knows that you're tired. He knows the guilt and the shame that you feel over your own sin, and he knows the weight that's been put on you, the wrong that's been done to you through the sin of others. He sees your weariness. He knows that you are bruised and smoldering. And his mercy toward you is tender. So 2 applications I want us to reflect on. First, if this is you, if you're weighed down by life and sin, receive the mercy of Jesus. Meditate on this prophecy, mull it over daily, turn the words over in your mind and heart. And I think as an aid to this, I'd recommend the book The Bruised by Richard Sibbes. It's an old book, but it's great. It's just an exposition of Isaiah 42. So rich and so comforting. But secondly, second application is imitate your tender Messiah. I heard it said recently that if Jesus were here today, he would be the easiest person to identify in a party or a gathering of some kind. All you'd have to do is just find the person who is standing with the neediest, least popular, hurting person. And Jesus would be devoting all his attention to that person. That's the kind of Jesus that we see portrayed in the Gospels. So what could it look like for you to imitate that kind of Jesus? Maybe there's someone you know who would be encouraged by just a phone call. Maybe there's someone in your life who's not living up to the expectations that you've set for them. Be like Jesus, who would not break a bruised reed. Be like your tender Messiah. Have a great day, guys.